Do you desire to become a better version of yourself? My Couch, Your Life was created to assist you in becoming the best version of you and to encourage you to live your best life. I'm your host, Dr. Patricia Busby-Robinson. You can call me Dr. P. I'm a licensed professional counselor who will bring a unique view regarding several topics that will be discussed on this show. A new episode will be available on Mondays at 5 a.m. bi-weekly. If you desire to learn more about the behavioral aspect of things and to have an occasional laugh or two, please subscribe and tune in. Now, even though I am a licensed professional counselor that's going to bring a unique view, I would fully disclose to you that this is not to take a place of a counselor. And if you do need counseling, please seek a licensed professional counselor in your area. Tune in. Let's grow together. Let's plant the seeds necessary for us to grow, but not just planting the seeds. We're going to water them with great knowledge and have fun while doing it. I hope to see you there. Welcome to My Couch, Your Life. I'm your host, Dr. Patricia Busby-Robinson, Dr. P for short. Let's dive right into it. As the title say, let's limit the kids' screen time. And I'm going to give you some reasons why. There are harmful effects of too much screen time for kids. I've been in this business for a while, and I have worked with parents, number of parents, that come in and saying that their kids are basically almost having withdrawal symptoms when they take their phones, when they take their tablets, when they do these things. And that can happen, okay? So we're going to discuss some ways today on what we can do and what that looks like for us as parents, okay? Now, children have grown up in today's society with a vast array of electronic devices at their fingertips. And let's be honest, some of us as parents, and I don't want to offend anyone, but it's almost as if we're in a generation where we're being lazy and lax with our parenting, and we just give our children the phone or allow them to get the tablet because we know it occupies them, and it occupies them with mean there's less that we have to interact with them or anything like that. So, and it limits their time outside. Kids are not going outside like they used to go outside. Like I used to go outside, and I was born in the 70s. But going out making cakes, mud cakes and things like that, children aren't doing that anymore. Okay, they're getting tablets. Can you imagine a world without smartphone, tablets, and the internet? I know I lived in a generation where we didn't have these things. So we got to start limiting our children the technology, advancing in technology. And today's parents are the first generation who have to figure out, this is first generation, how to figure out how can we limit the screen time for our children. And while the digital devices can provide endless hours of entertainment, they can offer educational content. Unlimited screen time can be harmful. It really can. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommend parents place a reasonable limit on entertainment media. Despite those recommendations, children between the ages of 8 and 18 averages, you guys, daily 7.5 hours of entertainment media per day, according to a study, okay? But it's not just the kids now that are getting too much screen time. They also did a study that revealed that many of us parents struggle to impose healthy limits even on ourselves too. So if we want our children to do it, we have to also practice what we're wanting them to do, okay? The average adult spends over 11 hours per day behind a screen. That means on your phone. This is my rule of thumb here. And I'm big on what you give your time to, what you give your energy to, what you give attention to. If you wake up in the morning, the first thing you're reaching for is your phone, or looking on social media or things of that nature, before you even get out, before your feet even touch the floor from your bed, or as soon as you're looking at that phone, or you're grabbing that phone, or you're going on social media, that is a problem. There is a such thing. When we think of addictions, we just think about food addiction. Some of us do, but alcohol addiction is common, drug addictions, but you can be addicted to other things. You can be addicted to social media. You can be addicted to food. You can be addicted to a lot of things. You can be addicted to career driven. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can be addicted to. Okay. So that's a problem if you have to jump and get, what I remember when Facebook, I was about to say FaceTime, but when Facebook was down and the number of people, and I wasn't on Facebook at the time, but the number of people that was like, what's going on Facebook? What's going on Facebook? It was like you got grown people almost having a meltdown because a social media site is not working. That is a problem, okay? So there's a lot that we can take from this. So let's not just look at it our kids, but whatever we would desire to see from them, we have to be willing to practice it ourselves, okay? Because it does show that most parents as well struggle to impose healthy limits on themselves too. And it's important to understand how much is too much screen time. And it could be harming everybody within the whole family. So the negative effects of too much screen time is whether you keep the TV on all the time or the whole family sits around staring at their smartphone. Too much screen time could be harmful. Here's what some research says, okay? You could have behavior problems. Elementary school age children who watch TV or use computers more than 2 hours a day are more likely to have emotional, social, and attention problems. There could be educational problems. Elementary school age children who have television in their bedrooms do worse on academic testing. And for me, and they also have on here sleep problems, so I'm going to buck these two together. Although many parents use TVs to wind down before bed, screen time before bed can backfire. The light emitted from screens interferes with the sleep cycle in the brain and can lead to insomnia. I have been saying this for years. I had an instructor that taught me a psychology class. She also worked at a sleep clinic, and she shared this with us about sleep debt and things of that nature and the negative effects. There's no positive to having a television in your bedroom besides the convenience of not having to get up and go to your living room, which is still, you can look at it as a negative effect because it's preventing you from getting a little exercise that you could be getting by just going in the family room or wherever to watch television, to get your mobile, to get that blood to flowing, right? Now, if you're ill or sick, then yeah, I can see that because you can't get out your bed or out the room for that time, so I can see that. But it does make us lazy and lax, and it does interfere with our sleep hygiene. So having a television, and then guess what? If you can't even go, some of us can't even go to sleep without the television being on. The television end up watching you because you have developed a pattern of having that television on when you go to sleep, and now you're using it as a sound machine basically to be able to go to sleep. Another issue is obesity. Too much time engaging in just activities that are almost like sedative activities, such as watching TV and playing video games, can be a risk factor for becoming overweight. And that's because most of the time we're just watching TV or on our phones or just sitting down on our tablets looking at stuff. Guess what? We're snacking. We're not even hungry, but we're just snacking. Okay? So that leads to problems. Violence is another issue. Exposure to violent TV shows, movies, music, and video games can cause children to become desensitized to it. Eventually, they may use violence to solve problems and may imitate what they see on TV. Okay? So that's according to the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, okay? Digital devices can harm family relationships. Most of our conversations about the dangers of screen time focus on children, but it is important to recognize that adults may experience many of the same harmful effects as well, like obesity and, like I said, sleep problems. But even if you aren't experiencing any tangible health problems stemming from your digital device use, there's a good chance that your electronics could be causing harm with your relationship with your child. According to a survey by AVG Technologies, 1/3 of children reported feeling unimportant when their parents looked at their smartphones during meals or when playing together. Okay? Even replying to a quick text message could be sending your child another message that your phone is more important than he or she is. So giving your child uninterrupted care, is very important. And if you're continuing to interact with them or dealing with them in interrupted care instead of uninterrupted care, by repeating this interrupted care, checking your smartphones and things of that nature, that could also affect his or her development and mental health. Okay, a study suggests looking at your digital devices could increase your child's chances of developing mental health problems such as depression. Okay, we as families, we have rules through all of it, and we do have to develop rules around electronics. It's no different. Even if it's something, if you have to put like a basket or on the table in a hall or something like that leading to bedrooms, say, hey, all electronic devices put your electronic devices in the basket before everybody go to bed, right? So talking to your kids, telling your children to turn off his or her video games while they're sitting in front of the while you're sitting in front of the TV won't do anyone any good. It is important for you to set healthy limits on the electronical use for your own sake as well as your child's sake. Here's a few household rules you might want to establish to curb screen time, such as no digital devices during mealtime. If you see that, because that's something that we should get back to if you're not there, having meals at the table as a family, right? No digital devices during that time. No electronics used during family fun nights. If you have family fun nights, leave your electronics in your room or in the basket, as I stated before. No screen time in the car. Let's not put our phones out, because you could have very meaningful conversations in the car through traveling. No screens allowed in bedrooms. Okay, because guess what? Even if a television is not in their room, they got that phone, what they going to be doing? Looking on that phone, and that phone going to end up watching them just like that TV would, okay? In addition, consider an occasional digital detox for the whole family. Create a screen-free night once a week or commit to unplugging 1 weekend a month. It could be good for everyone's physical and emotional health as well as your family's relationship. So there are benefits. And I'm going to go over the list of ages and what they say about that regarding using electronic devices and things like that in television. 18 months and younger, we know that shouldn't be going on. Avoid use of screens, medias, other than, the occasional video chatting or whatever, but they should not have that. 18 to 24 months, parents of children 18 to 24 months of age who wants to introduce it, the digital media, should use high quality programming and watch it with their children to help them understand what they're seeing. Monitoring is important, okay? 2 to 5 years, limit screen use to 1 hour per day. And this is of high quality programs. Parents should co-view media with children to help them understand what they are seeing and apply it to the real world around them, okay? 6 to 12 years old, place consistent limits on the screen time spent using media and the types of media, and make sure media does not take the place of adequate sleep, physical activity, and other behaviors essential to health, okay? 12 years and older, designate media-free time together, such as dinner or driving, as well as media-free locations at home, such as bedrooms. So you have to create boundaries when it comes to this. Here are some key signs that there's a overuse of the media. Your child is regularly overstimulated. Overstimulation is one of the first signs of too much screen time. It is also one of the most common and most prevalent symptoms. Signs of overstimulation includes aggression, bouts of crying, they can't sit still, emotional shutdown or seeming to go numb, irritability, meltdowns, oppositional or defiant behavior. Okay, and of course, these symptoms for overstimulation can have many causes. Furthermore, there have been some overlap with mental health issues. For example, if a child with high anxiety they may get easily overstimulated. As a result, they may not be able to tolerate as much screen time as another child. So too much screen use, it exacerbates the existing anxiety. So you do have to know that. So if you have a child dealing with other things, you have to make sure that you're tailoring this to your child specifically. If they already has been diagnosed with ADHD, or if they already have, certain diagnosis, hey, limit this screen time, you guys, for the benefit of the child. Physical signs of too much screen time, in addition to the behavioral signs of overstimulation, these physical signs that you can look out for. The first thing is to pay attention to your child's eyes. Are your child's eyes dilated after screen time? Do they have trouble making eye contact? Especially after using the devices. How is their vision? After all, too much screen time can lead to strain and related vision problems. Okay, if you use it, even if you're looking at the computer, I have had this myself, that it would affect your eyes. You may come out with you may have 20/20 vision, but after you looking at them phones for so long and looking at that television and looking at these screens, it's going to affect your vision. Okay, take note of their sleeping patterns. Okay, look for the tired but wired effect. In other words, the child is tired but can't sleep. Similarly to when they have had too much sugar or caffeine. Insomnia is a very common symptom of too much screen time. Okay, consider any physical ailments. Does the child have any headaches or any muscle pains? Do they have digestive issues? These things can have many causes. Okay, you will have to rule them out, but screen time can be one cause. Be mindful of that. Devices can also cause repetitive stress issues, okay, such as carpal tunnel, even in children. If you sit up there with that phone, get your phone, put your phone in your hand right now. You see how you holding that phone and how you have to text. Imagine holding the tab with both hands and you have to use it. Or a video game. You see that? You will develop carpal tunnel from doing this all the time. And children are too young, to start having those issues. They ain't even working a full job yet. I know I have an issue with carpal tunnel, but I know it's from me using this computer and typing all the time. So I'm very mindful of that. Excuse my dogs in the background. But I'm very mindful of that. Your child likes screens more than people, okay? Take notice of your child's interaction with others, particularly with peers. Do they enjoy doing things in person with their friends? On the other hand, are most of their friends actually people they communicate with primarily or entirely online? Okay, if your child prefers screen time to face-to-face interaction, then they might have too much screen time. Okay, they certainly aren't alone in this. Okay, social media and texting are popular modes of communication. However, it is important for children to spend time socializing with others in person. This is how they learn to empathize with others, understand and use nonverbal communication skills, and interact with a diverse range of people. Okay, if your child has trouble with these things, limit their screen time. That may help. Okay, think about that. Another thing, if your child reacts purely to no screen time, I've heard parents tell me they try to take children Xboxes, they try to take their PlayStations, they have told them they can't have their phone. These children have straight meltdowns because of it. This is a real thing. Okay, so what happens when you tell your child that that it's time to turn the devices off? What about if the Wi-Fi goes out? What happens? Okay, some children grumble a little bit, then find something else to do. However, if your child is already exposed to too much screen time, then they may not handle this so well. If your child throws a tantrum, doesn't know what to do with themselves, or keeps talking about their devices, then they probably need a longer break from that screen. Well, not it's a telephone, tablet, television, computer, whatever it is, to better service them. Because we're not doing them any benefit by sitting them into that, in front of a television, or by allowing them to get that tablet and just be on it. Because it's important for them to learn social skills. It's important for them to learn how to interact with others. It's important for them to develop those necessary skills and be able to regulate themselves emotionally, not to be so dependent on phones and on tablets. Find something else for them to do. What other interests do they have? Do not place areas in the home that you can't have your phone. When we're having family time, no phones. When we're having dinner or lunch or whatever, no phones. Think about those. Start implementing those things into your daily life. And you may have to, but if you tell a child punishment, hey, you can't have your phone, and they're going back and forth with you about that phone, and then they're having meltdowns, an emotional meltdown, that's a sign. Or when you doing something and they can I see your phone? That's a problem. You got games on your phone? That's a problem. So because they got to find other ways to, do things. And I know for my household, my son didn't get a game till he was, oh my God, I think a junior high or something like that. But that was one of the main reasons why I didn't introduce gaming to him. And now he's 20, and I promise he's on that game all the time. Children, certain age, don't need no phone. I'm taking you where you need to go, so what you need a phone for, right? So you just have to be mindful about that, and don't just introduce it. Imagine you having a phone or using a phone or being hooked up to certain stuff since you've been 3 years old. That's a problem. That's a problem. And you starting off at 3, and here you is 23. Look at the length of time you've been introduced to that phone. That's a problem. That shouldn't happen at all. Okay. I want to encourage everybody to kind of implement that, and not just for your kids. Let's try it for ourselves too, because some of us need to detox from the electronics as well. It's not just a kid issue, but it's also some adults. Some of us adults need to also limit that as well. And I enjoy talking to you guys. This is the last episode for season 1. This is episode 10 of season 1, and I may come back probably about 2 weeks from now, starting on season 2. But I want to thank everyone that has tuned in to My Couch Your Life. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for taking this journey with me. As I have said throughout this time, the first and most important person that you can love is most definitely yourself. Okay, that's the most important relationship you can have, is the one that you have with yourself. And I thank you guys so much. If there are any topics that you want us to cover in season 2, please go to mycouchyourlife@gmail.com. Send an email and we will try to cover that. But I want to thank everyone for tuning in and going on this journey with me. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast, I'm asking you to subscribe today and to follow us on all social media platforms for show updates and upcoming guests. This is Dr. P from My Couch Your Life podcast. I want to take this time to thank you guys for listening, for tuning in, and I hope your morning starts off great. Okay, I would like you guys to subscribe to the podcast. I would like you guys to follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook. If you got feedback, if there are topics that you would like to hear, want to discuss, please let us know. Okay, this podcast was truly created for people just like you and me. And I want you to remember, the most important relationship you can have is the one you have with yourself. And the most important person that you will ever love is you. I look forward to hearing from you guys.